I would love to share about a really beautiful experience that I've been having, especially since I posted yesterday's video. Something about that, I think, just standing in that kind of energy was really healing for me. And like last night, I was feeling so much of this intense rage in my body. And at the same time, I was feeling tons of resistance to it. Like rage is an energy that is really repressed in my body. It's something that I was really cut off from at a young age. And I know it's just been kind of stuck in my body, simmering there, wanting release, wanting expression. But it's an energy I felt really uncomfortable with. And so I'll unconsciously suppress it and repress it in my body. No matter how much I consciously am willing to feel it and be with it, there's just this mechanism that has happened that has kind of gotten ingrained within me that said, hey, anger is not safe. Rage isn't safe. We're going to shove that down. And so I've been cut off from myself. I've been fragmented from my fullness as a human being. Anger really serves us. It protects us. Anger is our power. And so when we're cut off from that aspect of ourselves, life tends to be a lot more difficult. And this is where we develop like people-pleasing patterns. This is where we have a tough time being authentic. A lot of us who suppress anger, we have a really hard time with boundaries. We tend to take on people's energy a lot. Just like we're really kind of, if we're disconnected from our anger and our power, the external can be very, can just be overwhelming sometimes. We can feel really at the mercy of life. You know what I mean? Like, because we're not rooted fully in our body, actually. It's like this place where these energies of rage are stored. We're not embodied in those places. And so a lot of us who are cut off from our rage, we might feel really ungrounded. We just, we don't have, we kind of feel disconnected from being a human, from Earth. And we can hang out in our heads a lot, and we can get really up here. And that's because it's like, we've learned, unfortunately, that anger is unsafe to feel. It's unsafe to express. And so we really disconnect from the body. And I had this really beautiful experience last night where there was just so much rage, and it was just breaking me down so intensely. And there was nowhere to go anymore. Like over and over, this path has taken me into my anger. And that's what the divine will do for you. The divine's always trying to help you feel the feelings that you've been avoiding feeling your whole life. Or it's going to help you. It's like the divine just wants to help you really release and transmute all the repressed energy in your body. So it's going to take you into the perfect circumstances and situations to help you get in touch with that repressed energy, whether it's fear or anger or grief. And so for me, if you've been following my journey, you've probably noticed over and over again, life has taken me into situations that have just really made me so mad. And this is life trying to help me, connect me to my power, to all that I am, to all the fragmented parts of me, to all the parts of me that I've cut off and condemned from an early age. And over again, the anger comes up, and I just feel so much anger, but I also feel this unconscious resistance to it, and it's just too much. It's just like this cauldron of hell. And I'll just run from the anger. I'll just do whatever I can to change circumstances in a way so that I don't have to be with this anger anymore. Because it just is too much. It feels like it's just too overwhelming. It's not really just the rage, it's the resistance to the rage, the unconscious resistance. So it's like that, all that rage meeting unconscious resistance, it's just time and time again, it's just overwhelmed my being. And the most loving thing I could do for myself is just find a way to, to alleviate the suffering and then take a break from the process, right? But this time, I've realized there's nowhere to go anymore. It's like and I don't say this with any egoic arrogance, but I feel like I'm so deepened in truth that I can't do the things I used to be able to do to avoid my feelings, to avoid my repressed rage. It just feels so off, and it feels actually like more of a hell. Like escaping my repressed rage and doing whatever it takes to run from it actually feels like more of a hell now than just turning around and being with it, as freaking intense as that is. And so last night I just had that deep realization that I'm not going to be able to run from this time. I'm getting so many chills as I say that. And something happened in that moment. And it was not just that moment, but just that period of time where I realized I'm not going to be able to run from this rage. I just started letting myself be mad. I started talking to my inner child who was so fucking mad. And I said, hey, you get to be as mad as you want in my body. It's like, I'm almost going to cry because it's like so touching to have connected with him so deeply. I was just like, you get to feel all the rage you need to feel in my body. And I started to feel the rage flow just a little bit more than usual. And I started to feel just a little bit less of this unconscious resistance to it. And it was like this beautiful kind of combination of feeling a little less resistance to the rage and a little more flow with that energy, just feeling it kind of move through my body a little bit differently. And also just having this space of tenderness for it and compassion for it. And like this really, I felt last night like this deep connection with it. Like finally, through 5 or 6 days of just kind of being in this torture chamber, this really intense pressure cooker with all this rage coming up and then there's tons of resistance to it. I kind of felt last night like finally God had broken me down enough that I was able to connect with it in this really deep and loving, compassionate way. And I just was able to accept it. I was finally not feeling my anger so that it would go away, And I didn't even realize how much I was doing that in the past. I was finally feeling my anger in this place of deep acceptance of like, hey, you can be here. I'm not feeling you so you'll transmute or heal or stop being so mad. I was like, you get to be as mad as you want for as long as you want. And it's perfectly fine. And that was just such a huge breakthrough to feel myself kind of falling in love with this rage. Falling in love with it to a point where I felt like you don't even have to leave. I don't even need you to go anywhere. It's like I'm here for you. And it was just really beautiful. I've been spending quite a bit of time alone last night. Actually, my phone died when I was in, it just died at some point last night. And I was like, that seems about right. And I just spent like a lot of time with it last night in this soft, loving place while letting it just be there as, like this volcano of rage was happening within me. And like I said, there's a soft, spacious, loving awareness around it, holding it, being with it. And sometimes I would let myself embody it and be the angry one. And then this morning, and then actually what happened is my whole system kind of started to relax last night. And I got the best night of sleep I've gotten in quite a while. I woke up kind of just feeling more kind of space, and just more relaxed and at ease. And this morning I just got to spend another good chunk of time with it, just being so slow and tender with this rage. And then I felt so much clearing in my central channel. I felt my heart feeling good. I felt like at the core of this, underneath all of this rage, is just a really deep wound. It's just like this inner child that's just hurting so bad. And he's been trying so hard to get everyone else's love and approval and validation. He's really convinced he needs other people. And he does need other people. He needs healers, he needs group, he needs, group containers on retreat. He needs all of that stuff. Of course, he needs community. But he was really convinced he needed other people's approval and validation when it comes to what I share and stuff. But I realized underneath that, he just wants me. This wounded one, he just wants my love and my approval. He just wants God. And so it's just so beautiful to connect with him in the way that I have recently. And yeah, I just wanted to share with you guys. I love sharing my inner journey with you guys, and I'm starting to feel more connected to doing that. I think when I'm aligned with truth in a deep way, and I'm not off chasing something from a place of, I don't know, all these different energies, right? You could say desperation, lust, just chasing in general. When I'm not off doing that, when I'm living a life of truth, when I'm abiding in deep integrity, I feel more free to come forward and share, to be seen. And it's been nice to feel that. It's that's where the juice is, to share. It's when I'm in integrity, because when I'm in integrity, when I'm abiding in truth, that's when I'm learning the deepest lessons. That's when I actually have the most to share with you guys. That's when I have the most valuable type of insights, because they're real, right? All right. So much love to you guys. Thank you for being here. Namaste.